join me from the comfort of your homes, and you send your contribution through the WhatsApp number, and I will to read it on the show. Remember to add your name and where you're texting us from, so that it's easier for us to connect with you. This is a very interactive show, so keep the comments coming through the WhatsApp number 0550 033 1511 0550 331 511 0550 331 511. As always, I will do the reading of your messages right here as we go by our discussions. And to aid me with the conversations in the studio, I have two amazing ladies in the studio as usual. And tonight's discussion promises to be so interesting. You do not want to miss out on any part of it. So sit down, tell a friend to tell another friend, and tell them that we are live, and so they should tune in and enjoy the show. So sitting right next to me is the first timer. Her name is Anita Insua Bonzi, and she happens to be the founder of She Dares to Lead. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so can you tell me a bit about She Dares to Lead before we move on?
Right. She Dares to Lead is an NGO that empowers young women to become who they aspire to be.
Okay.
And in doing so, one of our main program targets young ladies in the various universities who aspire to be leaders in their schools. So we are actually curating a program that will support them, mentor them all through from their idea stage to implementation of their ideas for leadership. And there will be community engagement and other programs as well.
Interesting. So how long have you been at this?
Okay, so I actually rebranded from IRU Foundation, which had been in existence from 2019.
Okay.
And then I just rebranded to She Dares to Lead this year.
How's it going? Good?
Going well.
Nice,
Amazing.
nice. So I believe we'll have more time to talk more about it. But then seated next to her is Ms. Helen A, who is a marketer, and she is a wife and a mother. Hi, Pacqueline.
Hello,
you came once and you decided to just leave me hanging.
Now I'm back.
Okay, great. How have you been?
It's been good.
How are the kids, the family?
Everybody is fine. So far, so good.
Great, great, great. And I don't know, but I feel like it's just good to have you in the studio tonight, purposely for this discussion, because then it's good to have someone who is in that situation, who can speak out of experience. So thank you for joining us. So in a bit, we'll get talking. But before that, let me remind my viewers or tell you about the New Wine Concert 2023 that is coming up. And this is going to be the biggest gospel music experience of the year, which has now come to stay with us. And this is coming from MOG's New Wine Concert. So this is from the camp of MOG. This is the New Wine Concert 2023 that comes on Sunday, the 19th of March 2023 at the Oil Dome Royal House Chapel International, Obeche Bilamte Runabout. So if you were blessed last year, then you do know that this year promises to even be better with bigger blessings. And so prepare to experience the supernatural this year. And this year's theme is the Coming Glory. So MOG Music, together with gospel artists including Ohima Mercy, Uncle Ato, Pacey, Esther, Kofi Owusu Pepra, and Ella Duncan Williams, will thrill worshippers with great worship songs and music, and then take us to the throne room of God Himself, the Holy One. And also ministering will be the Keepers Music and Liberty Voices Choir. Time is exactly at 5 p.m. prompt, and the rate for gallery is 40 Ghana cedis, double is 70, and regular is 80 Ghana cedis. So double 150 and VIP is also 200 Ghana cedis. You can dial star 389 star 777 hash, star 389 star 777 hash, or visit tickets.newwineconcert.com to purchase your tickets. And for further inquiries, you can call 0500 0500 053 881 0500 053 881 and get your tickets and all the inquiries or information that you need given to you. Tonight, this is not the first time we've spoken about this, but then there's a need for us to bring it back because it hasn't ceased, or probably we are not getting the education through as much as we want. So we have to bring it back and talk about why do women find DNA testing offensive? This is huge. This is big. Even some men find it offensive as well. But then here we are this evening going to talk about this. So this is why I say you want to be part of this conversation. I believe that many are times, or there are so many times where we've heard stories about how a man has taken care of children till the kids are old, probably married, and they even have grandchildren or whatever. And now they find out that the kids that have called them father or daddy all these years, they don't even have an iota of their DNA or their blood in their system, so then they are not their kids, or they are not the fathers of these babies. Most of the time, some people feel, okay, so back in the day, we thought these things were uncommon, but now here in Africa and the abroad everywhere, we have these things come up on a daily basis, literally. And so these stories and the mistrust I reason why there is an increase in men asking for DNA tests. Why would you even ask for that in the first place if it's not for the fact that you do not trust your partner, or probably because of something you've heard or seen or something? Today, this is what we are discussing. Why do we women, why do we find it offensive when a man asks for a DNA test? And I believe the last time we spoke about this, I even said that it is good. You, a woman, can even ask for a DNA test, not for anything, but because we can't even trust the systems of some of the health workers we have. You understand? We've had situations or stories where we've had some health workers selling babies to other people and then informing parents that we lost your child. And so then in future, how do you see? There's a lot to talk about when it comes to this. So as time goes on, we're going to get into it and we'll talk some more. But first and foremost, do you believe DNA testing is a necessity at all? If so, why? If not, why? I want to hear from you. So send your message through the WhatsApp number. But for the meantime, I'll talk to the ladies in the studio, and then I'll come and take your opinions or your answers through the WhatsApp number as well. So ladies, quickly, we would have to go for a break in a few minutes. But before we do that, the whole idea about DNA, right? What comes to mind when you hear of DNA? And is it a necessary thing? I'll start off with you.
I was telling co-guest that this is actually a very delicate topic to discuss.
Right.
But I think it's situational. It depends on what situation you find yourself in as an individual. Because if you are married, you're loyal, you're faithful to your partner, one of the reasons why people actually ask for DNA tests, I don't see why DNA tests should be requested, or a problem. Because in the first place, I know it is you. If it's not you, who else? You know, I am the one and all of those things. But in situations where there are issues, there are underlying issues, and sometimes some women actually even go ahead to say, the child is not yours. The baby is not yours. And they say it, and some men are actually very surprised, and they want to now take a step to have DNA test to prove whether the child is theirs or not. It's actually very, very tickling, but like I said, depending on the situation, if you find yourself in a situation that demands that, it's necessary. If not, I don't see
Okay,
why.
Great. Thank you. How about you?
Surprisingly, I share a varied view to hers. Why am I saying that? I feel that, and in this era, generally, I feel there is something wrong somewhere with this generation of wives, children, even husbands, So I feel there is nothing wrong if a man should ask for a DNA.
Right.
If you are a woman and even your husband, she mentioned that if you're in marriage, she doesn't see why, but things are happening in marriage.
Well, she did also mention that unless there are some underlying issues.
But today marriages, there are so many things that are going on.
Right.
People are married, but they are worse off than people who are not married.
Yeah.
So if I feel that even fundamentally it should be something that it should be a requirement that once we bring forth a child, let's see if that child truly belongs to me and belongs to you. If that happens, I feel from the onset, everybody will have clarity of thought and things should move on. So I don't see it as something that is should be offensive on our part.
Okay, so like it could like be a normal thing. It should
even be normal.
Okay.
It should be part of the hospital requirements.
No problem. Don't worry. You just hold your horses. Let's go for a very quick break. When we are back, we'll talk some more. Stay with us.
My name is Florence Japon. My company's name is Florama Enterprise. I deal in chemicals for making soap, shower gels, air conditioning, and skin products. My mom started this business 20 years back, so I joined after finishing school, and a friend of mine introduced me to ABSA. I opened an account with them. I got an RM who introduced me to ABSA Young African Works program. I went to the program. After the program, I was able to secure a loan from ABSA. During the program, I got a new idea. So immediately after the program, I introduced a new product named Organics, and it really helped me. I want to move out from the market and move to a shopping mall so that I would sell at the down floor of the shopping mall and do training upstairs. That is my dream. My fellow entrepreneurs, open an ABSA account and join the ABSA Young African Works program. It will take your business to the next level.
Let's talk about it. Suicide Awareness Ghana. Join us on the 11th of March, 2023 for a day of outreach at E. Ananse Libraries, East Legon. Come and get one-on-one free counseling from international experts. Listen to the stories and advice of suicide survivors and learn how you can recognize the warning signs and seek prevention. Also, enjoy free health screening, games, food, music, and more. All ages are welcome to participate. For sponsorships and vendors, call 0208-226-359 or 0269-224-580. Suicide Awareness Ghana is powered by Steamy Nights and supported by E. Ananse Libraries, MX24 TV, Honorable Dr. Victoria Esenam Asa-Ofe, the Greenleaf Foundation, University of Ghana Department of Psychology, Ghana Association for Suicide Prevention, and hosted by KTG.
Today's class is going to be an exciting one. Now, who can share an unforgettable moment in their life? Okay, Asempa.
I'd like to talk about my first time. It was her natural look, complemented by her favorite green silky apparel that caught my attention. I have to say, she automatically possessed me with her smile, which exposed her beautiful white teeth. That's not all, her enduring signature perfume could be smelled from afar. Madam, why do you look so surprised? My first time with her was special and irresistible. I'm talking about Cindy Rice. Cindy Rice can be found in selected supermarkets nationwide.
Everybody loves Cindy Rice. Cindy Rice, sweet aroma, great taste. This advert is FDA approved.
Get ready to experience a night like never before with Ahima Messi, Kofi Osipipra, PSA Esther, Ankalato, Ella Duncan Williams, and your host MOG. Also ministering Keepers Music and Liberty Voices Choir as MOG Music presents New Wine Concert. Theme: The Coming Glory, on Sunday the 19th of March 2023 at the Oil Dome Royal House Chapel Ahimfie. Time 5 p.m. Rate 200 Ghana Cedis VIP, Gallery Standard 40 Ghana Cedis, Gallery Double 70 Ghana Cedis, Regular Standard 80 Ghana Cedis, Regular Double 150 Ghana Cedis. Visit www.tickets.newwineconcert.com or dial *389*777# to purchase your tickets. Sponsors: Oduma, Bell Beverages, Bell Aqua, Total Family Health Organization, First Choice Hair and Beauty Salon, Tank Palace, DDP, eTransact, Oasis Studios. Media partners. For more information, call 0500 053 881.
Give me a new song to sing.
We're back from the break. You're still the dish right here on MX24 TV. And in case you just tuned in, we are discussing tonight why women find it offensive when the conversation of DNA is brought up, and is even a necessity. Should it come through? Should it come up in whatever, under whatever circumstances, be it on a good day or a bad day? And again, what could be the reason or a reason why a man would request for a DNA test? So the ladies in the studio with me have already had their bit. They've said what they want to say. We are moving on from there. I want to hear from you as well. As a man, what will make you request for a DNA test from your partner? And as a woman, do you find it offensive? Under what circumstance would you find it offensive? And under what circumstance would you not? Because, well, they say there are nice ways of going about things. You can even be disrespecting someone and say it in a nice way, and they won't take offense to respect. Yeah, can we have a DNA test? Oh, baby, you know I love you and everything, but can we have a DNA test for our baby? It doesn't necessarily mean that I feel you cheated or you've been unfaithful whatsoever. Now, ladies, so before the break, you did say that it shouldn't be a big deal if your partner asks and you're like, well, if we are in a good relationship and we're okay and we have no issues, why not? Exactly. Now, what could be a reason for a man to get up one day and say he wants or he's requesting for a DNA on your children? But let me start off with you, because you are married, you have kids. What will happen, or how would you feel if your husband, well, I know he's watching, so big shout out to him. How would you feel if he wakes up one day and says, babe, I need us to have a DNA test for our children? As a woman, as a human, I know probably you feel like because of the understanding you have and all of that, you might not take it. But on a normal day, what's the first thing that will come to mind? And then how would you react to the whole situation?
So, I always say this, so surprisingly, when I gave birth and we came home 2-3 few months on, I asked him, won't we do a DNA? Oh, okay. Yes. I asked him. Then his response to me was, do I have a reason why I should do a DNA? So for me, DNA is both ways. It's maternity and paternity. And as we have said, there are times that it's not necessarily about cheating. It's not about, but there are all other things being equal or not being equal. Other things might happen at the hospital all through before we even come home. So I feel if he should ask me today that let's go and do DNA, for me, what would occur to me first would be like, okay, has he started doubting me? Okay. Although I had previously asked him to do and all that. But should he come back to me, we all have this human element. The first thing is, have I done
what
anything?
Has changed, exactly.
What has changed? What has he seen? Or what has he been told that he's now requesting that we do a DNA? But somebody said a bird on a tree is not afraid of the tree falling because not because the bird is put its trust in the tree, but in its wings. I have nothing to hide. I'm sure most women also don't have anything to hide. So for me, although initially it would look somehow, you know, for my darling husband of all these years to come and now say, let's go and do DNA, but then I'll let us have it. I don't think it should be a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Aside
great.
feeling some way in quotes, I think we are free to go. It shouldn't be a big deal.
Okay, great.
Not
How about
at
you?
all.
Whew. So, aside immigration and forensic purposes, which are official, when it comes to marriage, I'm not married yet, so we will take your bet on the marriage part for that answer. But there's a story that came up in 2013 in China.
Okay, so not to cut you,
Right.
but I think there was a technical hitch. So I don't know if you can we can take it again. You are married.
Yeah.
You are a mother.
Yeah.
And what happens if your husband wakes up one day and requests for a DNA test of your children?
Okay, personally, I don't know, but I think I have a thing for DNA.
Okay.
I think I have a thing for DNA. Maybe because I also want him to 100% again give me a level of trust.
Okay.
If that's anything to go by. I wouldn't feel offended.
Okay.
I'm all in for it. Although initially, you know, should he just
As
come
human,
up
yeah.
and ask, as human, I would have a lot of thoughts in my head. What has he seen? What has he been told? What has changed? Am I in trouble? You know. So aside that, I think I'm all in for it. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
DNA, like I always say, is maternity and is paternity.
Yeah.
I won't let my husband just go and do a paternity test. What if he goes and let's say the result shows that the baby is
What's up, world? What's up, Africa? What's up, Ghana? My name is Biche, and welcome to Artist Vibe Africa.
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 It's Artist Vibe Africa.
With Kobiche.
With Kobiche.
With Kobiche.
It's Artist Vibe Africa with Kobiche. Sa. Yo.
So this is going to be the hottest entertainment show to hit the continent of Africa. And hey, I'm going to interview your favorite artist, my favorite artist, and our favorite artist.
Many men shall die because of the greedy of another man. Yeah. Worldwide.
Ananas, yeah. Ananas, yeah.
Artist Vibe Africa.
Get ready to experience a night like never.
We do apologize for the technical hitch, but we are back and the conversation is still going on. So do join the conversation, send in your comments, your opinions, your answers, and your views to the WhatsApp number on your screen. Is there a need for a DNA test as a woman? To ask for a DNA test of your children, and as a man, what will make you want to ask for a DNA test of your children from your partner? Okay, so yeah, we were talking about what will make a man want to
request for a DNA
test.
Yes, I was saying that apart from forensic or immigrational purposes, which are official, A man could actually request for DNA test when sometimes they realize that the child you have given birth to doesn't look anything like him, or like the woman doesn't behave anything like both of them.
Or anybody in their family,
exactly.
like they say.
So there's a story that happened in China in 2013, where a recent graduate from one of the universities in China, who was a theater studies graduate, didn't have any chance at auditions because she didn't look good.
Wow.
So according to the story, she was ugly. And she spent $100,000 on plastic surgery. So that changed her entire look. And she started getting acting roles. This lady went on to marry, and then she had a baby. And the guy says, nope, that's not my child. You have given birth to an incredibly ugly child.
Oh, because you look pretty.
Exactly.
Oh.
And she never communicated that she had had plastic surgeries to change her looks and all of those things. So you give birth and the child looks like, you know, whose baby is this? I don't look anything like this. Exactly. Is the baby mine? Are you sure I am the father of the child? Let's get a DNA test. They ran the test, and then the guy won the lawsuit against the lady. Because there was no communication about how she looked previously.
But then the baby was indeed your child.
But now the baby carries the looks of the mother's original copy.
Yes.
I like that original copy.
So now it's like bleaching, you know. You used to be dark, now you are fair. You give birth to a child and the child is dark.
So what happened? How
is the baby mine?
What happened? You know, okay,
you
great.
know.
But
so she had to pay $120,000 as compensation to the man.
To the man, okay.
But at the end of the day, he realized that the baby was his. He just didn't know what the wife looked like before the plastic surgery.
Right.
So in this situation, I think he had every right to ask for a DNA test because the baby didn't look anything like both of them. Trust would be broken. You know, all of these things are there, and you ask yourself, why would you not even communicate that you've had plastic surgery so you look different from what you originally look like?
No surprises.
Then I come into the marriage and you give birth for me and the baby is looking like
great. But then again, like I said from the beginning, right? I've heard stories where babies get switched up in the hospital, probably for some unforeseen reasons. Some are very foreseeable reasons, but then, you know, for their individual selfishness, some people just decide to sell off other people's babies and tell you your baby is dead or whatever, or even switch babies because probably I'm a friend of the midwives, and then my husband is requesting a son, and then I give birth to a daughter. So then if I happen to give birth within that same time frame as someone else who has a daughter, then we switch babies. What happens if after 12 years or after whatever years we find out that the baby is not, that's like you say, most of the DNA tests that we do mostly is to check for the paternal part of the baby, right? To see if there's any relationship or connection or whatever. But then when it happens, so it's always the woman, oh, she cheated. We also forget to look at the part where there could be situations, mishaps or whatsoever that happened in the hospital. So last year, I think early last year or late 2021, we had this documentary of babies that were sold in some hospitals here in Ghana. And it's not just here, even in our neighboring fatherland, Nigeria, we had that there, and other places. People sell people's babies, people steal babies, people give out babies, do you understand? And all of this. Why don't we look at it in this, just like Pascaline said, so then we have a baby, before we leave the hospital, let's check for both maternity and paternal of the baby. Let's be certain this is our baby we are taking home, because in whatever years to come, it is going to be the fault of the mother, forgetting that it could have been anything from the hospital and all of that. In this instance, why don't women speak up?
Okay.
Is it for the fear of being judged that you probably did something wrong? You asked your husband that you should have a paternity, a DNA for your child before you you raise them.
Yeah.
But then, why do you think women don't even want to talk about it? Do they even dread the whole idea, especially when it comes to the first fruits? I don't know why, but then it seems like a big problem. Why is it so? Why can't women also call for it?
Yes, I think women should call for it. If you know your conscience is clear.
Okay.
Okay. The only reason why I would resist a DNA test or paternity test is when I know that maybe there is even a 1% chance that this child is not from my husband.
Okay.
Then I would try to resist and kick against it. But if I know that I haven't done anything, there is no doubt, there is nothing, I don't see the reason why we should not be bold and come out and say, let's have this thing done. Because, for instance, when you go to most of the hospitals and then you give birth, let's say through a cesarean session, the theater is somewhere, you have given birth, your family is not there, nobody is there, the nurses take care of your child and everything, and they transport the child from the theater to wherever they are taking the child before they even take care of you and bring you to the ward. So even within that short period of transporting the child from the theater to the ward, and mind you are not the only one in the ward. There are some people, there are some humans. Kudos to our nurses, our midwives. They are doing so well. They are doing so well. But you know, some of these things,
the bad nuts and all that.
The bad nuts will always. There are people who are just wicked, who are just adventurous, who will do things for no reason. You understand? You can give birth today. I've given birth today. We are all in the ward. You don't know. Even maybe the cleaner, somebody. People just have very wicked, evil
way of
conscience.
thinking and all.
To them, they are playing tricks on you. They are playing a prank on you or whatsoever. I have given birth. Let's say I've seen the child, but I can't recognize my child once
Some people even pass out after giving birth.
Yes, exactly. Some people, several hours later before they even get to see their child. So somebody can easily come and swap. In most of our hospitals, they are not well equipped. There are no cameras. Nobody is really paying attention to all these things. So I feel that this thing shouldn't be like an attack on wives or girlfriends or females, that when we say DNA is going to happen, then it means we are pointing a finger at you. No, when DNA is going to happen, it's because we are looking for clarity. If we see it from that angle, I think we would even call for it more than the men even call for it, because I wouldn't want to bring somebody's child home and come and nurse somebody's child. So why shouldn't I call for it if I can? I don't think that should be a problem. So women should be bold. If you have nothing to hide, I mean, let's go for it.
And ask for it, right? Okay, good. How about you, Nita?
I also feel like society hasn't been fair to women when it comes to issues surrounding DNA, rape, and all of these things.
Stigma.
Yes, because a woman would fear to speak up or to even request for a DNA test because of what the family members would say.
Or even society.
What society would say. Hey, so if I request for a DNA test, how would they even see my husband? How would they see me?
What would be said?
It's like somebody speaking up after being raped and someone is asking, what were you wearing?
Yeah.
How does that matter? What I was wearing, what I wasn't wearing shouldn't be the question.
Exactly.
So I think we need a reorientation of mindset, and our approach to certain things should actually change. Because if somebody comes up, like she's saying, she doesn't have any problem with requesting for DNA test, which I believe that for purposes of what has been happening in our hospitals over the years, it's actually very good that if you give birth, you have the opportunity to run a DNA test, like you said, before leaving the hospital. It gives you some form of assurance. You know that I am taking home my baby, exactly. But in this generation that we are in, you would be surprised to know that people request for DNA tests and it will become an issue. Why is she requesting for DNA tests if the husband is not a cheat? Why is she
now, even if the husband is a cheat? So you see, with most of the DNA tests, especially if it's not out through surrogacy, if the baby wasn't through surrogacy or whatever, and you, the wife or the mother, are the carrier of the child, once the discussion of it comes, it's clearly okay. So then you are at fault.
That's
exactly.
Exactly. Society needs to approach things differently. And I mean, this is a big platform, so I'd actually like to say this, that we should stop stigmatizing people. Whether they request for DNA test, whether they have been raped, whether they have been sexually assaulted, but any form of thing that happens that society stigmatizes against. I think if that is not there, women will be bold enough to come up to say, I want to do a DNA test.
I want to be sure.
Exactly. But because of some of these things, they would rather keep quiet and then years later realize that the child I have raised all these years wasn't mine.
Right. Okay, so let's see what the viewers also have to say. Good evening. You look Dashino for you. Thank you. My name is Adjoa from Takoradi. For me, the only time I would agree to DNA is if I'm filing for citizenship for my kid. Otherwise, a woman always knows who the father of a child is, as they say. Very, very true. Okay. Eric Sarkodia from Konongo says, so for you, will you as a woman find it offensive? Not at all. I even want to know both. I want to know the maternity and the paternity of my child before I leave the hospital. So yeah. But I think women find it offensive because of trust. That is, their spouse don't trust them. Also, I think they also find it offensive because your husband is not smart in the way he is asking for it. Okay. The man can say it's for traveling abroad, and she probably wouldn't worry unless she has something to hide. There's a difference between being smart and lying. Certain things can't be asked directly. Okay. This one says, I think there should be a DNA test before a lady is discharged from the hospital. My humble opinion, though. Very much so. We agree with you totally. Yeah. It's generally offensive to women who have been unfaithful because they may be exposed and they don't want to have to accept that reality. They know their lifestyle could end if the answer doesn't go their way. Many times they've been cheating with multiple guys who weren't responsible, that they liked and slept with without protection, and they put the baby on the guy they were dealing with that was the most responsible. Interesting. Oh, okay. That's a lot. I'm a brand here from Bantama. In fact, I think DNA should be compulsory immediately after delivery because the ladies in this generation is in a mess. Well, the men also. It swings both ways. There are male nurses who also go about switching babies, so we can talk about that as well. Okay. Right. So while I wait for messages to come through, now let's talk about the fact that women are able to now ask for DNA, right? And then men are also able to ask for all. We all have the same mindset, and we all decide that we want to know the paternity and the maternity of our child before we carry them home. What happens then if you find out that the child that you just gave birth to is not your child?
Yeah, so, okay.
Child you just gave birth to or the child you have raised over the years?
No, so we are talking about having to do in the sense that, let's start from the beginning. So it's from the hospital. Now we agree that it should even be a thing. You check that before you are even discharged or you go home, right? So now you check and you find out that the baby that your wife literally just gave birth to 24 hours ago is not your child and is not your wife's child. It has nothing, no DNA related to you.
I think it's under rare circumstances that you can actually tell if the child is yours or not within that short period.
Okay. You can.
You can?
You can. Even there is one that is even before birth.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now technology is so advanced that whilst the baby is still in there, you can still do a DNA test.
So now the baby is out.
So why don't we rather do like what she's saying? I haven't been, I mean, you know, like before the baby is born, there's a way you can test to know if the baby is.
No, in this instance, I mean that husband and wife have both agreed that now it's a thing. Let's check before we leave the hospital. And she just came to the labor ward. She gave birth, ready to go home. And then your report shows that the child you both have is not related to any of you.
The midwives will have a big question to answer.
Great. That's why I want us to tackle this.
The hospital management would have a big question to answer.
Okay.
Because, like she said, if you are going into the ward for CS, there is a time frame where you are cut and everything, and the baby is going to be transported to a room to be prepared and then back.
Brought back to.
That is a very long period for transactions to happen. It doesn't take an hour or two for baby swapping and baby selling to happen. From the documentaries we watched, it's just a split second because the arrangement has actually been done.
It's just the
execution that is needed. So if within 24 hours or less, my baby, I realize that the baby I gave birth or the baby I brought home isn't mine, I'll be gentle.
But in this instance, you are talking the management of the hospital and the midwives and everybody on duty at that time, right? Including security, cleaners and everybody. How about we look within? So your partner, where was your partner? Because I believe if your partner was there with you, if you went off or whatever, you lost consciousness, he could have followed through to make sure that this child they are taking, my eyes are on my baby. They are bringing back the exact baby, right? But then wait, let's put a pin in that. Put your thoughts together. Let's go for a very quick break. When we are back, we'll continue.
What's up world, what's up Africa, what's up Ghana? My name is Kobe Che and welcome to Artist Vibe Africa.
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 It's Artist Vibe Africa.
With Kobe Che.
With Kobe Che.
With Kobe Che.
It's Artist Vibe Africa with Kobe Che. Sa.
So this is going to be the hottest entertainment show to hit the continent of Africa. And hey, I'm going to interview your favorite artist, my favorite artist, and our favorite artist.
Many men shall die because of the greedy of another man worldwide.
Ananas, yeah. Ananas, yeah.
Artist Vibe Africa.
Get ready to experience a night like never before with Ahima Messi, Kofi Osipepra, PSA Esther, Ankalato, Ella Duncan Williams, and your host MOG. Also ministering Keepers Music and Liberty Voices Choir as MOG Music presents New Wine Concert theme The Coming Glory on Sunday the 19th of March 2023 at the Oil Dome Royal House Chapel Ahimfie. Time 5 p.m. Rate 200 Ghana Cedis VIP, Gallery Standard 40 Ghana Cedis, Gallery Double 70 Ghana Cedis, Regular Standard 80 Ghana Cedis, Regular Double 150 Ghana Cedis. Visit www.tickets.newwineconcert.com or dial *389*777# to purchase your tickets. Sponsors Oduma, Bell Beverages, Bell Aqua, Total Family Health Organization, First Choice Hair and Beauty Salon, Tank Palace, DDP, eTransact, Oasis Studios. Media partners. For more information, call 0500 053 881.
Me and you song to say.
Relax, right?
Hey, bra, mistake. Care plus I'm a better tree. And one I'm in me fear for you too. And I'm Santi more. More be any me fear.
Me banaka care plus in here. Me say come da how.
Na me extra me jina bra, me see me chie say me shake plus me nyo. Na da ma betu so me say ele. Me na di kofi o.
Unsu tu akofi.
She.
Onye nentema.
Oh, Pastor,
I care for you.
I have your son. Oh, I care class for you, eh? Brother Betty.
Leave the room for 15 minutes after spraying and don't sleep in the room with the burning coil. FDA AJ Ejedi Kratuyatu.
Okay, we are back in the studio and we're still asking why it's necessary to have a DNA test, what will make you ask for a DNA test, and should hospitals, in this instance, should hospitals be liable if we find out that the baby doesn't belong to either the man or the family, the man or the woman, sorry, or should the parties, the parents or the family be blamed for this? So that was what I asked before going, right? So in this instance, who is to blame? Can we blame the husband? Can we blame the relatives? Why weren't you in the labor ward as well?
Okay. So there are hospitals, mostly the public hospitals. They do not allow relatives to come into the labor ward, into the theaters and all of those things. But then there are some private institutions that allow that. You can be in the labor ward, you can be in the theater, you'll not even be like inside the theater, but then there is a place they give you. You stand there, you can actually see everything that is happening. So if my child from the hospital or in the hospital, we realize that the child doesn't belong to us, then it becomes a responsibility of the hospital to produce my child because I have not even left the hospital.
So my baby should be here.
So I am
They are accountable.
They are accountable, exactly. I am your responsibility. My baby is your responsibility until we leave the hospital. So if even at the hospital, we realize that my child is not mine, then somebody definitely must come and answer. And then also about relatives not being present when babies are born.
Deliveries.
Sometimes is a hospital's policy. Now beyond that,
but you know you can opt for it.
Yes, but but mostly in the private institution for the government because so many things are happening at the same time. Then the number of patients they are attending to and all that, they can't have all these people trooping in to come and do. But they have visiting hours where you can come and visit your wife, your daughter-in-law, and so on. There are some places also that will allow you to stay for some time. But even then, there is a time where you have to go away because they have to have only the patients in there. You can't be there 24/7. There are times that doctors have to come and check on baby, check on mother, and all those things. So there are visiting hours, and there are times that when the hour is over, you can't sleep in the ward with your wife, your daughter. But then also some hospitals, private, they have these private wards, these private rooms. But how many people can afford affordability? How many people can afford to go to a private hospital and opt for a ward? Because it's like you're paying for a hotel fee. Some are even higher than hotel fees because you're having the ward all to yourself. Sometimes 2 in a ward or 3 in a ward maximum. And these are private wards. But then again, the question is how many people can afford? So because of some of these things, we can't readily have relatives in there all the time. So even if you are permitted to be there for some time, you should know that you would definitely be asked to excuse them when the time comes. So as I am still in the hospital, I am your responsibility. Anything goes wrong, you account for it.
Okay, great. Nita, you
I'm just listening to her. This is from an experience, okay? I'm just listening to her and I'm asking myself that, like she said, private hospital, private ward comes at an extra cost. we are living in this country. We have issues where people are going to deliver and they don't even have money to pay for the bills that comes with it. If the unfortunate happens and the baby has a condition and they have to buy different type of medication for them,
so it's an issue.
Sometimes what people would eat even after childbirth is a problem.
Sure.
So imagine the number of people that goes to the public hospitals to give birth and they cannot even afford their bills. Okay, talk of they probably providing or going to private hospitals to have this special experience.
Luxury and all that.
It is difficult. And sometimes I also feel like the health practitioners should be a bit patient when it comes to delivery, childbirth, and how people are around.
Okay.
Because for all you know, someone may have gone through a situation of being married for 15 years, 10 years, has never given birth. And that childbirth is the first of its kind the person has ever experienced. You are depriving the person's relatives from being there. Even if they are there are timelines. I think this is a good approach to actually make a humble appeal to government and to the health service to review the services they provide when it comes to
and the policies.
And the policies, exactly, because if I am going to give birth, my husband cannot come in, my mother-in-law, my mother cannot come in, they can come in after a while, and sometimes you see how they talk to them. Chain, you know, it's disheartening.
Yeah.
Okay, like she said, if all these people are around you, you can even have the peace of mind to relax because you know somebody has an eye on your baby.
Even the extra strength to push.
But now you have to give birth to your child. If it's a mass ward, your baby is just lying right beside you. You have to get up, go and bed, leave your baby behind. What if by the time you leave your baby behind and you return, something has happened?
Yeah.
What do you go and ask?
Yes, so it also boils down to facilities as a nation.
We can do better as a nation.
If they even should amend some of these policies, we
need more infrastructure? Honestly, we need
more
infrastructure.
Okay, so great.
Yeah.
We'll come to that in our closing remarks, right? But then quickly, before we go, we have just 2 minutes to leave. If the whole idea or the whole situation of, yes, there was a situationship here and there, and so therefore the baby is not, or no, the man asks for, he requests for a DNA. You go for the test and the child is yours. What happens to the marriage? Does the marriage go back to how it used to be? Can it ever go back to how it used to be? Because I believe in this instance, it seems trust gets broken here. How do you work through this?
Yes, if you are open-minded about it, trust shouldn't be broken.
Okay.
Marriage should continue because this is not a death sentence.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just be on the same page that this child that we have brought forth is for me and it's for you. I don't think there is a big deal. So it boils down to the fact that women should be open-minded about it. And men. The fact that the man and men, of course, mostly they even ask for it. So the fact that your husband, your boyfriend, we are talking about husband, but in most cases, people who even ask for DNA are not people who are married. There are people
now the married men ask. The fathers, the married men really ask too.
Yes, but most of them also are people who are not married.
Right.
You get it. So we shouldn't see it as an attack on a woman that he has asked for a DNA. So it means something. If we eliminate that mentality and we open our minds and we become so open to the idea of knowing that this child is for me, is for you. Marriage should continue as if nothing happened. Asking for DNA doesn't mean that I am having a grounds for divorce or anything. Let's just be on the same page. For me, I'm even still putting it out to my husband that if he has the means, let's still go and do that.
Okay, interesting.
So that we on the same
how about you?
page.
Just in a few seconds, let's go.
Okay, so I think how the relationship or the marriage will go honestly depends on the two people involved.
Sure.
Because before, like, I'm actually getting so excited about how she's seeing things and her approach and everything. She willingly asked for it.
Yeah, she wants peace.
Yes, there are some people that may have gone through a series of events or issues that led to the request of DNA. Maybe you're fighting me, the baby is not mine, you have your own doubt and everything. Then we conduct the test and the baby is yours.
Your face. That kind of thing.
I remember a popular footballer in Ghana here during his divorce asked for DNA. But for me,
no, for this one, I think how the relationship will go depends on the two of them and the underlying issues that led to the request of DNA. If not,
it should be okay. All right, guys. So I haven't been able to read too many messages today, but we are pressed for time. And so just before we go, I just want to say that in as much as it is the responsibility of a man, or a man has the right to request for a DNA test at any point in time, a woman can equally do so. And so for the health facilities and the health workers to avoid all these things and then being dragged in the mud and all of that, and your hospitals and your integrity all dragged down, it is advisable to even advise your clients to even have the test before they leave the facility. And you, the couple, can also start doing that and thinking about that. This doesn't mean there's been room, or it shouldn't breed any room for mistrust and arguments and all of that in the home. But I believe that this answers a few of your questions. We'll come back and we'll talk some more, maybe some other time, because there are so many avenues that we can tackle on this same topic. And so until same time Wednesday, my name is Ofrioa. Have a great evening and have a DNA test if you want to.